do help them out some of their commercial/residential jobs, or just even restaurants, and you name it. We're there to do it. We do it all.
Yeah, and so this year, and just like last year, you're our streaming sponsor. So with that, Shaw Hockey Productions comes in and they cover 46 games over the course of the weekend, all the way from the beer leaguer crappy guys like you and me to world-class sled hockey players and NHL players. And we can't do that without guys like you, without Shawzy, and so on and so forth. So thank you for doing that. And we also have a kind of a cool theme this year. We're wearing it right now.
We are. The theme I like about this Dawg Bowl, and it comes close to home to me, is organ donations. So with the Dawg Bowl going on this year, the Survivor game, it's all organ transplant recipients and donors.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about you a little bit on that, because you hit both sides of that, right? Because with organ donors, you have the people that receive the organ donations, but you also have the people that give the organs, right?
Yeah.
And some of those are living donors, some unfortunately pass, and that goes from there. But kind of tell us about yours.
So first one that got me involved with the organization with Dawg Nation was a kidney donation to, everyone knows, D-Rep, or Dave Repsher, with Fight for Life back in 2015, with the helicopter accident with Fight for Life. So yeah, he went through some troubles, and I donated my kidney, which got him back up and running. That's great with him.
Yeah, and then you, on the other side, you're a recipient yourself.
I'm a recipient. I actually have a 21-year-old man from Florida's cadaver cartilage in my left knee.
Yeah, ironically, the same surgery Gabe Landeskog just had.
That's true.
So you came back, so that means Gabe's coming back too. So,
Definitely.
but that's terrific stuff. Amazing on both sides, and also we're wearing the Survivor game jerseys. So these are going to be on Saturday. Amazing game to watch. That'll be on one of the broadcasts and
at 2:30 p.m. Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and you are going to be in that game, and so is Dave.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, thank you very much. Tune in. 46 games. You're not going to want to miss a single one. Check it out. Thank you.
Welcome in to the championship matchup of the Copper B division. We have the Minnesota Old Guys versus the Old Dogs here on this championship Sunday. Should be a lot of fun action today. Slight delay here, looking for a puck to use.
You know, there's a lot less pucks in the beginning of this thing, but there still should be plenty of them. Custom edition Dawg Bowl 13 pucks.
We got a matchup of the Old Guys. Minnesota Old Guys versus the Old Dogs. I do think the Minnesota Old Guys might have fibbed about their name a little bit. None of them look too old to me.
They do have some old guys on the roster, but they have countered them with the Old Guys kids.
All right. Well,
as we get started into the Old Dog zone, immediately chances for Minnesota. They'll fire it from the point. And pad save, rebound, good stick check by the defense of the Old Dogs. They could get to the corner, and we'll have our first whistle.
I think the Minnesota Old Guys have let up the least amount of goals this weekend. So they've been pretty dominant all tournament long, and a quick start here.
And it gets behind the net with the Old Dogs. They'll push it up the boards, and then they look to set it up at neutral ice. Goes through the skates and gets around to Minnesota. Minnesota turns around, and with a little bit of speed, he's going to skate it through neutral ice on his own. And sets up on the boards looking for help. Fires a waist-high pass across the middle, looking for a baseball player to help that one in, and then they'll fight for it down in the corner before it comes out. Another save considered by the Old Dogs. Minnesota turns, cycles right back in. That's Johnson. We'll see him handle the puck quite a bit in this one. He leaves it for his approaching teammates. It's worth mentioning the Minnesota has some old players on here. We got two guys in their 70s on that team and their kids in there. You will see that they are still know exactly where to go to be effective as they give up a little bit of speed to these young guys that make everybody feel old. Into the Minnesota zone for the first time, and it doesn't last long as we get the high speed Travis Phillips, and now a shot from the slot for the Old Dogs.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Saucier.
Yeah, there's the Old Dogs are gonna need to capitalize on their chances, because it looks like this Minnesota team has more speed and maybe a little more skill. So if the Old Dogs do get a chance, they're gonna need to capitalize, or else Minnesota might be able to run away with this one.
Comes out, regroup, neutral ice, and it's picked up by Minnesota. They'll bounce it off the boards. It bounces right back, and it comes in a 3-on-2 momentarily. Gets canceled out against the boards as Minnesota gets it, and they look for a breakout pass is missed. They bring it to neutral ice. And you might be right. There is a lot of youth on that Old Dog team.
Yeah.
And I got a 2-on-1 setting up here. They're going to fire it, pad pass. It goes high into the corner. And it comes back the other way. The 3-on-2 momentarily gets canceled out with a back check. A block shot goes into the corner, and they'll cycle it around to the point, and they'll fire it off the boards, and it gets intercepted by Minnesota, and they chip it out to center, and they look for a change. Minnesota also plays very disciplined hockey. We've seen to this point in the tournament, perhaps why they have such a low goals against. Minnesota splits the seam, gets in, gets around the defense, goes to shoot, partially expected, and then the rebound goes in.
That was a nice move there to create that rebound.
Larry Bellick picks up the rebound off of the pads and puts it in for the first goal of the game with 11:20 left to go in the period.
Yeah, no, they definitely need to change their name next year if they come back, because that did not look like an old guy
He's
moving
not
up the
an
ice.
old guy. I think that's part of their psychology behind the whole thing. You think you're going out on the ice on some old guys, and you realize you got some skill and speed on that team. Blake Johnson's going to go coast to coast, or attempt coast to coast on this one. He's got one guy to beat. He does. He shoots. It goes off of the goaltender, wide of the net, and Minnesota will regroup in the slot area, looking for help. It looks like the Old Dogs are really chasing the puck. They're kind of bunched up in their own zone as Minnesota uses the open player, and they give it back to Johnson. Fires it, pad save by Schoonover. Shout out to his children, Emma, Avery. Goalie says hello. So does the broadcast team. Puck comes out to center ice and then backhands in with a rainbow of a dump in as Minnesota goes for a line change, definitely changing lines more frequently than the Old Dogs. Minnesota behind the net. Fires wide, goalie aggressive on that one. Tries to jump out to get it. Instead gets the rebound off the boards. We're seeing behind the goals to be very active boards. And Minnesota has a little bit of time to regroup inside their own zone. That is Mike Holland that passed it out of the zone. He is 72 years old and playing with the next generation. Allison Holland on the ice. Always fun when the generations get to play on the same team. Puck gets tangled up at the blue line, kept in temporarily, then bounced in off sides, and then is pushed out by Minnesota. And the Dogs will regroup in their defensive zone behind the net for safety, and Minnesota will give them time to come out. And then the puck is canceled out of play.
Yeah, the Minnesota just speedy and quick up the ice, generating a lot of chances that way. The Old Dogs are kind of slowing down the play in the offensive zone, looking for those passes in front, but those are getting taken away pretty quickly by Minnesota and closing in on those gaps to not really let anything come to fruition.
Puck slides back to the Dogs. They'll regroup in the defensive zone. They try to get it out to the point. It is held in and lobbed in on net. Schoonover with another save. And Minnesota playing aggressive in neutral ice, forces a turnover, stops the breakout and the Dogs forced to regroup again. This time they pass it right to the middle, and he's got all the time in the world. Big save, shooting over, and then it comes out of the zone almost, and it's kept in by one hard-working Minnesota player, and he'll bring it down deep by himself. Just misses a connection in the slot area, and it's held in at the point.
One bad turnover, and now the Old Dogs can't get out of their zone.
And it's loose. Big save, shoot over right there. Half a second later, and that one's knocked in the net.
Yeah.
He got his hand in there. He took a little slash on the hand because of it, but he'll take that every time if it means that he can save the goal.
Yeah, it was just one bad pass, and just like that, Minnesota had a minute or so of just domination in that offensive zone.
Probably 3 chances off of that single turnover. We got about 7.5 left to go in the first. We're still doing run time for 2 periods, and then the third period is either stop or run, depending upon what the score differential is. Minnesota circling around. They try a long pass. It hits a body and then gets held in at the point, and a sliding kick move to get it out. And the Old Dogs are charging forward the other way. It's Sami that made that move, got his own scoring chance, and now he retreats back to a defensive position where he'll receive the puck again. He's got a lane, he fires it, it goes wide of the net and starts to go out of the zone. It's held in at the point. They'll flip it in deep and collect it. Travis Phillips receives the pass. Probably one of the faster guys on the ice, definitely one of the faster guys, if not the fastest. Shoot over, forced to make a save, gets a little help from the post, and it bounced behind him. Now to the other side, and the Old Dogs hit center ice for their speedster, number 7, Derek Hickey, who is described by his team as some speedster from Breckenridge. And it looks like a tripping call. What do you think of that one?
I don't think that was a trip at all.
I think that was.
I think he maybe got a piece of him, but that was more of his move taking him down more than anything else.
I would agree. I think that was good, aggressive blue line play to try to protect the zone. I do not think it was a tripping call, but you know what? We don't have stripes up here. We just have opinions.
Yeah. Now Minnesota with even more room on this ice with this advantage could be dangerous here.
Minnesota has been dominant in the attack zone time so far, and now they have an extra man, and they have shown a very disciplined power play up to this point in the tournament. They work it behind the net, got a lane, it slides under the stick, where that was a big scoring chance. Minnesota forced to regroup at center ice, and they do quickly. Big moves, tries to shift it over. Nobody in place yet. Oh my.
Wow.
I'm not sure how that one missed.
I can't believe that one missed near side.
That was Karen Zelo, and she wants that one back for sure. Maybe nervous hands in this championship performance. Puck bouncing always makes it interesting. Fires it short side of the goal. Blake Johnson drives in, the guy with the sweatpants, and puck gets knocked away from him, but picked up by the trailer. Old Dogs try to get out of the zone. It is kept in place by Mike Holland, and Mike Holland will have to step forward, and he'll have a lot of time to get to this puck, keep it in, and we got another call.
I didn't see anything happen there.
Still not seeing the note from the official. It was the official from the far side
Both
pointing
are
at the
going.
near side official, and I think they decided to take them both, probably trying to keep control of this one on a little bit of extra activity. That's Cashman for the Old Dogs. Did not get a number on Minnesota, but we'll have a, we should have a 4-on-3. Penalty's not making it up to the board, but 2 guys in the box for the Old Dogs. And they're gonna keep it 5-on-4 and just let those cancel out.
I still have no idea what the call was there.
And now we're even strength as the original penalty comes out of the box. Yeah, I guess it didn't look like much extra activity, but I think that's what he called. So undoubtedly sending a message that they don't want it to happen on their shift. And the play resumes at 5-on-5.
find it funny when those things happen in a charity hockey tournament.
Yeah, it's an emotional game. Sometimes it's hard to dial it down.
The trophy is pretty cool to take home, though. So.
It is. It is. You get a Dawg Bowl trophy is something special. Then the Old Dogs come into the zone. They'll push it to the slot area. A good stick interrupts that pass, and Minnesota will break it out the other direction. Good back check, aggressive back check there. And Minnesota forced to set up inside the zone. They'll push it down low, and it is intercepted by the Dogs. Dogs will go up to the wing. And they got a little bit of room and fire it oddly at the scorekeeper, who are innocent volunteers.
Yeah,
not sure what created that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the end goal was there, but
never know what those scorekeepers are chirping at the players. Maybe that was just a little quiet to scorekeepers. Face off inside the Dog zone. Minnesota tries to fire it in. It goes off of a body, comes out to center. They're forced to regroup, and they do. And they'll come in. They got a 2-on-1 developing here quickly, and he fires, goes for the top corner, goes over the net, hits the glass, and then it bounces around for the Old Dogs to start grabbing it center ice. Hickey takes it in the zone, and it is a touch off sides, but the right call by the official.
Yeah, it was close, and that would have been a good chance for the Old Dogs, but definitely offsides there.
Old Dogs spending less time in the attack zone. They definitely need to capitalize anytime they are there, because it looks like Minnesota is going to control the pace of this one.
Yeah.
Minnesota carries it into the zone off of the draw, and that is a save. Old Dogs, they got a little bit of room to skate. He's going to go around, tries to chip it by and is unable to. He's got somebody on the wing, but he elects to go into three people, and that doesn't work. It comes back out to center. They'll regroup again. This time he goes wide, and it bounces off the skate, goes into the Minnesota zone. They'll chip it down the ice and force the Dogs to regroup at their own end. They chip it up to center. Skates through a hook, fires it high and over the net, and it goes out of the zone on the own speed, and you've got the speedster going after it, but a poke check keeps it out of the zone, and then a skate keeps it out of the zone after the stick is gone. Good defensive work by the Dogs there. As they walk in the zone, they got room in the slot. It hits the stick and hits the netting.
Watching this, the Old Dogs don't look that old either.
Old is just a tactic, I think. That was Evan coming into the zone with that shot. He's back on the team after spending some time in London. And bounces around a little bit and comes out on the Minnesota side. A little give and go there, and then bounces over a stick, prevents a scoring opportunity. Dogs will pick it up. He's got room to skate. And he's looking, but there's nobody in front of him, and he dumps it in, and it then heads for the bench, which shows why he wasn't skating. It was at the end of his shift and the end of our period, where we will pause as we have the Minnesota Old Guys leading 1-0 over the Old Dogs in the Copper B championship game.
Yeah, a little bit of puck luck there in the crease for the Old Dogs. Some wide open nets missed, but goalie also standing strong.
Definitely words of inspiration needed on the bench to pick up the pace a little bit on the Old Dog side. They have been really on the defensive side most of this game so far. Looking at some of the player notes, we got Sami, who did have a scoring chance in that one, was a goalie in 2010 for the only Colorado team to win a Tier 1 Youth National Championship. National championships are something pretty special and really uncommon, and definitely something that you will hang on to for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So definitely worth mentioning. In 2010, huh? The older I get, the better I was. 15 minutes on the clock. This will be a runtime period, second period of the championship game. Old Dogs are on your left, or check that. Old Dogs on your right, Minnesota on your left. Easy to tell by the Minnesota colors that they are carrying. And Dogs will be forced to regroup behind their net. They'll take a look, they chip it out, and it hits the boards and comes right back in the zone. And then they chip it out again. This time they have numbers. It's a 3-on-2 developing with the back check coming quickly to cancel that. And it does, and now they set into the Minnesota zone. This puck fires off the side of the post and bounces out. Save made for the Minnesota team, and then it gets out to the point with a little bit of time. Fires in, this one blocked. Next one hits players in front, takes a weird bounce, but does not make it to the net. And then Minnesota will chip it out. By far the biggest flurry from the Old Dogs in scoring opportunities, and it comes back the other way. What a counter by the Minnesota Old Guys. Greg Bielek, Larry's son, puts it in.
That one hurts. The Old Dogs finally had some good possession time in the offensive zone, some chances around the net, and then immediately go down the other side and let up a goal, now down 2.
Deflating.
Yeah. It's a tough break there, but a lot of speed on that goal too.
Cut across the crease area, protected the puck, put it in the net. Tough save for the goalie once the player's allowed to cut across like that. This one comes back in the Minnesota zone. They'll set up behind their own net, and they'll look for the long pass to the blue line, and they'll chip it down to the Old Dog zone. Minnesota definitely in an advantage right now, going to be playing conservative hockey. Any Old Guys from Minnesota know that a 2-goal lead used to win a game. Old Dog fires, hits a skater in front and goes wide. They'll hold it at the blue line and they'll throw it on target again. This one is saved and rebound covered up by the goaltender for Minnesota. That would be Cam McDonald, a Dog Bowl rookie, first timer. We love to see the first timers come out here. We always see them come back. Face-off takes place in the Minnesota zone. It goes back to the corner, and it will get chipped out. Minnesota very disciplined, moving the puck to the open guy, not forcing any passes. Dogs having a little bit of trouble covering everybody. Dogs throw that one up into the netting, and we'll get a pause of action, and the next face-off will take place in the Dog zone.
It's nice to see teams come from out of state, because I'm pretty sure most of this Minnesota Old Guys team, if not all of them, are from Minnesota and made their way over to Colorado. We see the New Mexico Moose just traveling to come to this event is pretty amazing.
You know, it's quickly becoming a national event. Look forward to it becoming international. Big first stop. Second stop, they're unable to gather. Old Dogs, that'll spark some life into that bench as you got players standing up and tapping their sticks. That's what they needed to keep this one close. And it becomes a 2-1 game advantage Minnesota.
I mean, the Old Dogs have looked better this period than the first. Couldn't bury that one earlier, but and then let up the goal the other way, but now they're able to score on this one and cut the lead in half.
It was a big kick save initially, and then the second one just got by his toe, got into the net. Old Dogs win the draw. They turn it right over to Minnesota. Minnesota will carry it in the zone, and the high speed sticks flying as the fastest guy in the ice that we've seen a few times puts it in front. What a unselfish play in the slot area to pass that back, try to get it up on the short side, and it is blocked by the goaltender. And the Old Dogs will scramble and get it out of the zone. We've seen Travis Phillips, number 44, in that Minnesota team show some speed. We've also seen Blake Johnson here show some speed, and he drives in. Does an offensive check, I would say.
Yeah.
Gets hard in no-check hockey when you don't know how much pressure is going to be against you. And that one somehow gets into the net.
That's tough.
That's a pinball goal.
That was a slow motion, looked like.
Slow motion, changing directions, and finally finds the back of the net. It went off of a Old Dog player before going into the net on that one. The goalies get pretty frustrated when that starts happening. Those pinballs tough to stop no matter what speed they're going. 3-1 Minnesota lead. And they'll dump it deep in the zone, which I think we'll see them doing a lot of right now. The old-time hockey just get it in deep, make them go the whole distance.
Especially with their speed, they're able to get those forecheckers in there and close in quickly.
That was Bill Bolin, described by his teammates as an all-around nice guy and dependable player. And he will get to the boards and keep this one in, and pushes it in deep for his teammate to go chase it. Gets turned over to Minnesota. Minnesota with a couple passes. Again, finding, and they have a breakaway opportunity right here. And backhand, big save by Schoonover. And he has to go make another one. He gets in position, but his defensemen help him out, and it gets kicked wide. And Minnesota will keep the pressure in the attack zone. And there's some pushing and shoving in front. No love lost. This is a championship hockey, and the Old Dogs will regroup behind their net. Couple moves looking for the options out. They find Old Dependable in middle, and he turns it over. Backhand attempt, and then is pushed wide of the net, and we will get a call on this one from the far official. And we get a dive motion from the Dawg bench. And we got a little bit of chirping coming from the benches, and the refs, volunteers also taking a look. We appreciate all the refs coming out here. As Marty pointed out the last game, thousands of dollars that are usually spent on refs are now going to donations instead. So we do appreciate their support, even when we don't like the call. But that call is a rough, and that will give Minnesota 2 minutes on the man advantage. A scheduled 2 minutes. Might change. Face off, one back cleanly by Minnesota. They'll fire it from the outside, save Schoonover. Off to the side, Minnesota will work the perimeter, and it bounces over a stick, but remains in play. Plenty of time. Minnesota tries to shoot it across. It gets knocked down in the air, and then they set up the back play. Schoonover reads that completely, gets the blocker up and knocks that to the corner. Some cheers from his bench and from the crowd. Minnesota still in control of the puck.
That seam pass is also pretty nice there. Just better play by the goalie.
That's Rossini that had the shot, number 19, and also the work on there. He's playing with his dad. His dad is 76, still playing hockey. Hope to be there someday. And this one turns around and gets fired all the way down the ice, and the Old Dogs will head to the bench and try to get a change. Being the second period, they got a long change, and half of them make it, half of them don't. Rossini takes the puck. He throws it off of his teammate's stick, and it bounces to the Dogs. Rossini hustles and keeps it in the zone. Rossini has been a star on this power play, keeping it alive. Gets out to him, he's in the seam area. He tries to pass it back, a little bit hot for the teammate to handle, and they'll give chase. Old Dogs have it, and they will send it down the ice, and we will be at our last 30 seconds of this man advantage for Minnesota as a few changes happen behind the play. Blake Johnson brings it out of the zone. He gives it to his speedy partner, Travis Phillips. And Phillips will circle around, finds a wide open slot. Non-selfish play, looks for the short side pass. Probably a better decision. Hindsight would have been to just shoot that thing when you're 6 feet off the goal at the center. But hey, what do I know? I'm just here to call the game. Old Dogs hit even strength. And they'll work it through neutral ice, and it is blocked down and then chipped out by the Old Dogs. I'm going to go ahead and say next goal wins this game. I think next goal is all the momentum here. If you make it a 2-3 game, all the momentum goes to the Dogs. You make it a 4-1, it gets tough.
Yeah, especially in that range of running clock in that third period, then even harder to make that comeback if you do fall behind by more than 4 or more than 3.
Shot from the short side, pushed away by McDonald. Travis Phillips tries to walk in with a little bit of speed. Good poke check keeps it from happening. Salmin throws it over to his teammate. Lopez pushes it out of the zone. It's picked up by the dependable player. Pushes it cross ice pass, and it is picked up by Minnesota, and they'll battle for it on the boards. Rim pass gets up to the point. Dogs pick it up. Bounces off the Minnesota player, goes into the net. That is going to spark some momentum on this Old Dog team. They were 1 goal away from being buried, and now I think they're able to compete.
Wacky goals on both sides of the ice now. Off their own team 2 times in a row, and both teams benefiting from that, or I guess not if you're the goalie.
Victims?
Yeah. Evens out, I guess.
It does. 2 pinball goals, and we have a 1-goal game now with just under 4.5 minutes left to go in the second period. Minnesota is up 3-2 as the refs have a little conversation that's costing us seconds. Refs not used to playing in a run-time environment. Comes back. Old Dogs do win the draw, and they'll try to chip it out of the zone a couple times. They keep it from entering, and then it finally comes back in. Minnesota sets up. He walks to the slot. He's got room. Fires. Big save. Shooting over. Kicks it to the corner. Minnesota picks it up, and they will cycle it back down low. And it bounces around in front. Picked up. Karen Zietlo's open in top. She tries to backhand that. Schoonover's all over it. Quite a play to backhand that coming in. Chipped it up high enough, but the goalie read it and made the play.
That's a big save there. Falling back down by 2 after just getting within 1 is a tough break there, especially with the clock running and only 12 minutes in the third period.
Absolutely. Minnesota wins this draw and are able to keep it in. That's Blake Johnson able to keep it in. And he's fumbling the puck all over. And he walks in, scores. What a play by Blake Johnson. Keeps it in at the point. He's fumbling it through his legs. He's making everybody want to wear sweatpants with a play like that.
Yeah, I think Blake Johnson might need to move up a division or 2, because that was a beautiful play there to open up that space and pick his corner and get within 2.
Said this before in a game. His motivation is that his wife gave up Taylor Swift tickets, and boy, you better have a performance if the wife's giving up tickets like that.
That's true.
If you lay an egg when you show up, the wife will never forgive you. You got to perform, and so I think that's what's driving him, and he's trying to live up to that sacrifice.
Yeah, Taylor Swift or a Dog Bowl trophy. Tough decision.
It's an easy decision for most. Oh, look at the Dogs counter right away with the one-timer back door, and goalie's got no chance on that. We got 2 minutes to go, and this remains a close contest. Dogs will not go away in this one.
No, Minnesota looks to have more possession time and more chances, but the Old Dogs have capitalized on the chances they've gotten and a few lucky bounces, but it's still a 1-goal game, and anything can happen here.
Puck's won back by Minnesota. They'll dump it into the zone and give chase. It's collected behind the net by the Old Dogs. They'll look for safety and look for the breakout pass, a little bit of room to skate, and then finds a winger on the go. That's their speedster from Breckenridge. It takes a weird bounce on that. I don't think that was a pass he was looking for, but that was an effective scoring opportunity. A little bit of baseball skills from the Old Guys. Old Guys will head towards the zone, and they'll fire it from the outside. It hits a skate and goes to the boards. That's Mike Holland playing here, 72 years old. His daughter also playing. And we'll see Johnson collect it behind, and then he's going to show a little bit of speed. As those sweatpants get moving, he goes into the zone with speed. They give him the slot area, and then it goes off of a defenseman wide of the net. He'll collect his own rebound in the corner with a little bit of a battle. That's Aiden Cashman that was winning that battle in the corner. He's a young one. He's another son playing, bringing down the average age and maybe eliminating the old out of the Dogs title. And Minnesota Old Guys will set it up, and it's gloved down in front, and then it gets out to the point. And it goes over to Blake. Blake Johnson looks for the pass. Defensive play by the Old Dogs. Had his stick tied up by Aiden Cashman, and the ref is going to call that a hook. Not a fan of that call.
Yeah,
What do you
that looked more like a battle in front, just fighting for positioning
think
there.
That's good defense
But
if you own that guy's stick as the puck gets there.
Either way, Minnesota will start the third period on the power play and with and in the lead, up 1.
And we'll have a stop time third period since we are a 1-goal game. And Minnesota with critical special teams. They now seem to have a coach on the bench, and he's talking to players, and he's letting them know, hey, this is a championship game. You got to capitalize on special teams if you want to take the trophy.
And so far they 0 for 1 on their power play today. But at even strength, they've looked strong.
A lot of attack zone time.
Yeah, they haven't played a lot of time in their own end, but even with that, the Old Dogs have scored on most of the chances they've gotten. So it's a little frustrating maybe if you're on the Minnesota side of this one.
For sure.
But just gotta stay strong in this third and keep doing what you're doing, because it's been working so far. Just don't let those don't let up a big opportunity here, because the Old Dogs might capitalize.
And that takes us to our final period, potentially of the championship game. Should this end in a tie, it does go to a shootout, but this will be the last period of play for either of these teams. 12 minutes on the clock. It will be stop time now. And Minnesota will start out with a man advantage for a scheduled 2 minutes. Old Dogs a little bit late to get guys on the ice as they work on their strategy. And they realize that they can only have 4. Third period has started. Old Dogs win it, and they'll chip it down the ice. It's actually a shot on goal. And Phillips will take it behind the net, and we'll see him reverse it. And Old Dogs got some time to kick it out, and they have a very disciplined approach. It bounces off of the stick, gets out back to their zone. They'll be forced to regroup again. And that's picked up by the Dogs, and they're content to kick it down the ice and kill a little bit more time off of that power play.
Yeah.
Phillips tends to like to use his speed, gets around a couple people, or check that, Blake Johnson. And he'll walk in, he's on the near side, he's got the back door, it bounces over the stick, and they're unable to capitalize on that one. He catches it again, big backhand, save, second attempt, goal, Minnesota. An insurance goal for the Minnesota Old Guys.
Yeah, and that iffy call at the end of the second proves to be costly here for the Old Dogs, as Blake Johnson takes it into his own hands, setting up his teammates here, and gives them a 2-goal lead with just 11:15 left in this game.
Schoonover made the initial save, and then it was his second one got slid under him, which is his third, would have been his third save of the series. A lot to ask for a goaltender. Big play by Sami to block the pass, and then it gets picked up again by Minnesota. They got to open net. Schoonover comes all the way across with a kick save. Keeps his team alive, gets a spark from the bench. Old Dogs have got to counter here if they want to stay in this thing. They'll take it into the zone. You're going to see the defense be activated a little bit on this Old Dog side, as they only have 10.5 minutes to be able to catch this Minnesota team. Currently down by 2 goals. Old Dogs carried in. It's a speedy kid from Breckenridge. Gets it in, backhands it, slot area. Good chance for Sami. Sami takes his time, gets underneath the goalie, but changes directions and then goes wide. Real big save right there. Very close to another 1-goal game.
I went 5-1. I think it is like foot behind him. And
They'll walk in for a second chance. Sami again. He tries to go backhand. Goalie gets a stick out there and wrecks that decision. Gets back to Sami again for a third time in the crease area. A lot of activity for a defenseman in front. And we will get a whistle.
Not sure what the whistle was there.
Yeah, I've been watching for signals, and I'm not seeing anything. For whatever reason, that'll come back in the zone. I don't know if the net went off in some of that melee or what.
They call a hook.
Oh, it is a penalty. Okay.
I must have missed that one. I did not see anything happen there.
That's scrum. That looks fairly innocent. comes out with a hook and a man advantage for the Old Dogs. Minnesota typically has a very good penalty kill. We'll see if the Old Dogs can counter as they'll regroup at center ice and wait for their teammates to come out of the zone. This is the kind of time as a coach you want to put your best guys on. You got to bring this back to a 1-goal game. Shot from the top goes wide of the net. It'll go up to the boards. They'll cycle it down low. Gets up to the point. Some moves from the captain. He kicks it over to the side. They'll fire from the outside. Goaltender able to track that the entire way. Makes the save.
Yeah, probably need to get a body in front there, create some commotion. I mean, most of the goals this game have been rebounds in front or deflections off of players. So get those bodies in front, maybe get another bounce, because there's been plenty of them this game so far.
Puck comes back. That's Phillips that'll fight down deep, try to kill some time. He takes a heck of a slash, and the puck gets down deep. Cashman comes out with the puck, and they still have the man advantage. He's got a lot of room to skate, and he's going to use it all. He'll be coming up on Blake Johnson, one of the better skaters on the Minnesota team, but it doesn't make it there as he tries to drop it. Phillips gets a hold of it, sends it all the way down. Goaltender's forced to play it behind the net. We got about a minute left in the power play, about 9 minutes left in this period, the third and final period of the championship game. Old Dogs take it in the zone. They drop it a couple times, gets chipped out by Minnesota. Forces the Old Dogs again to regroup at center. And Old Dogs will walk inside. And it goes off of the skate into the corner, and they'll battle for it. And it gets out front, and then Minnesota grabs it. And they got a lot of time to deal with it. Quite the hands move, a risky move, but it pays off. And Minnesota comes in 2-on-2 in the offensive zone, shorthanded for the moment. And it gets turned over by the Old Dogs. They'll transition quickly back the other way. We got a 2-on-2 as they change behind the play. The 2-on-2 dissolves. Big shot goes wide of the net, bounces up to the half boards, chipped around the D, and they look like they're going to be in. Tries to cut in. A tripping call going to be the result of that one. As Minnesota tried to jump into the inside, they got tangled. Questionable call.
Yeah,
you try to jump a player to the inside. Right. You jump a player to the inside and you fall. That's a result of that. It should have been a no call on that one. Calls being critical in this one. 5 seconds left to go on the initial penalty against Minnesota. Then Minnesota will have a $1:55 scheduled power play. So 4-on-4 hockey in the meantime. Minnesota wins a clean back to the point. They'll fire it into the glove of Schoonover. And they will try that face-off again, this time from the other side.
And with their 5th player on the ice as they're 5 seconds past, and back to 5 for Minnesota.
There's a speedy guy from Breckenridge, gets in, gets a shot, fires low. Goaltender makes a save, covers, there'll be no rebound on it.
Another penalty here.
They're going to call an interference, I think. Interference. So that last bump at the blue line that slowed down the speedster is what they're calling, which is kind of a modern hockey call. Not going to say how much I agree with it, haven't played older hockey, but it is consistent with how the game's being played right now.
It may be a little bit to even out some of the calls that have been made the other way.
Could be a sympathy call to keep this one tight. Refs don't want to be a factor. They want the players to sort out who the winner is. And we'll have 4-on-4 hockey.
That's a lot of space
and
for someone with this much speed.
Breakaway opportunity for Bellick and a big save Schoonover. Bellick goes by and tells him, good save. You don't see that in a lot of hockey, but you do see that at charity hockey. And that one goes up into the netting, so the faceoff will take place inside of the Old Dog zone. Old Dogs will gain a abbreviated power play, like 14-second power play.
I might be worried about this 4-on-4 because of the speed of Minnesota and so much space. It could be dangerous.
Minnesota passes into the slot, bounces over a stick, and now we got a rush going the other way. Sami puts it into the middle, and it gets poked away by Minnesota. Then he picks up the rebound. He'll make one guy miss. He drives, goes backhand. Great pass, great save. Goaltender slides across, makes a save to the backdoor attempt, and it will roll to an icing. If that puck wasn't on edge, there's no way it's making it there.
Yeah.
Great
Big save.
Big save by Cam McDonald. Saves like that. This is his first Dog Bowl. He'll have a chance at a second Dog Bowl with saves like that. His teammates will bring him back.
Yeah. Definitely deserves it.
Ref's got a lot to say, and then finally drops the puck. It goes to the Old Dogs, and it will just go over the defenseman's stick and get out of the zone. They'll be forced to regroup. They'll kick it in, and it gets picked up by Minnesota. Minnesota will chip it off the boards right back to the Old Dogs like tennis. Old Dogs will walk in, and Sami tries to drop it for his teammate. He's unable to do it. Minnesota's got a chance here. They'll be pushed to the outside. No look backhand pass, and it gets intercepted by the Old Dogs. They'll chip it out and take it into neutral ice. As they chip it forward, Minnesota forced to retreat. The icing waved off appropriately, and Minnesota gets it on the near boards, and they have Blake Johnson with the puck. Good back check. Pickpockets Blake Johnson and creates a chance for a shot that goes wide of the net. Minnesota picks it up. This time Blake's not going to be caught from behind as he hits with full speed into the zone. He looks to drop it to a teammate, I think, but ended up dropping it to the Old Dogs. And then Minnesota will push it deep into the zone. Picked up by the Dogs. There's some room to skate over here. And the captain walks in, tries to walk around. The defenseman unable to, it gets shifted out of the zone. 6 minutes left to go in this. You're starting to see Minnesota celebrate victories of just getting it out of the offensive zone of the other team, which is signs of a team that can taste the cup at this point. Old Dogs setting up in the zone. They become much more aggressive in this period as they need to, as they got a 2-goal differential to make up. They'll fight for it down low on the near boards. Comes out Minnesota. Good one-touch pass to the speedster Phillips. He's in. It's him and the goalie right now. He tries a backhand, goes wide of the net under some pressure from behind from Cashman. Cashman chips it out. And they're going to wave that icing as that puck is not going fast enough. Minnesota will look to regroup behind their net as the Old Dogs change behind the play. Minnesota picks it up. They go through neutral ice and walk easily into the Old Dog zone. They'll fire from the outside. It goes wide of the net. And it'll be picked up by Cashman. He chips it out and turns it over to Minnesota. Picked up by Phillips. He's looking for a little bit of help. Minnesota very patient here to just maintain possession as they have the 2 goals. They'll walk into the zone. They got a little bit of pressure. Good stick by Cashman. Pushes it to the corner. And Minnesota will fight for it in the corner and eventually turn it over to the Old Dogs. Old Dogs pass it out, and they will approach neutral ice. Looking for help, fakes the look, and gives a shot on goal. Goaltender is not fooled, kicks it into the corner. Cashman gets it out to the high slot, bounces off a stick, comes up to the point. Shot in, pinballs off of a couple players, goes wide. Minnesota fires it out of the net, and it goes to Phillips. Phillips taps it over for nobody, and Old Dogs pick it up and enter into the zone. They're going to call offsides on that one.
That was close. That was very close.
Did we get a replay?
Yeah, I think it was the right call, but I don't think it was. I think it was very close. I don't think it was much.
I judge by the lack of uproar on the bench and the stands is why I'm thinking it's the right call. Back to Minnesota. Blake Johnson backhands it up, and it's picked off by the Old Dogs. Old Dogs will be looking for a little bit of room at neutral ice. Minnesota doing a really good job of covering the critical areas and pushing everybody out, and this is a turnover back. Minnesota, he's got room. He's going to walk the goalie and tries to leave it. Goaltender, big save. Stays disciplined, stays on that short side post until the last second, making the save. Minnesota works it down low. It is turned over to the Dogs. Dogs bounce one up, picked up, and then given back, and they'll play a little bit of tennis, a little bit of back and forth with the puck. 3 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. Dogs need something desperately right now as time is not on their side. Good chip up. the Old Dogs, and then it's picked up inside the zone by Minnesota. They'll try to chip it out, and it is contested. A little bit of tangling going on there. And goes off of the glove of Dawg and then picked up by Minnesota. They'll chip it to middle, and it goes right back to the Dogs. Dogs fired in, right back to Minnesota. It gets intercepted, then back and forth a little bit, and it comes out Minnesota. Minnesota walks into the zone very patiently. They fire from the outside. Good no-look shot, and it is saved by Schoonover, who's actually had an excellent game. Good move, and this brings it in for the Old Dogs. He tries to get to center, unable to get to center. Blake Johnson got just enough of that to disrupt that play. And then it comes back quickly on the Minnesota side. They'll get in the slot area, and they'll force it down low. They look for the back door, nobody there. They'll set it in deep, content keeping that puck behind the Old Dog net and keeping a guy high. They already have 3 guys up high playing defense.
Down 2 with just 2.5 minutes to go. What do you think Old Dogs pull their goalie?
Old Dogs have got to be thinking extra attacker at this point at any time. Did see the goalie. He's looking at the bench. No motion from the player coach. It's over there. This one gets tangled around, gets thrown in front, and Minnesota comes out with it. This is a 2-on-1 the other way. And a big slash, 2-hand slash. Good pass. Good save by Schoonover. That was a beautiful pass after a 2-hander. And to give Minnesota another scoring chance. Now Minnesota will keep it down low and not give a chance for the Old Dogs to get that extra attacker out as Minnesota is still attacking. Old Dogs turn it over at the point. It's picked up by Blake. Blake walks in, fires. Ref will tell us if the goalie got a piece of that, and he did, as he points into the defensive zone is where that faceoff will take place for the Dogs. And I believe we have a timeout, which is actually against the Dog Nation rules.
No, actually,
I
made the rules with Marty. Postseason games, timeouts are allowed.
Excellent.
So it's just the round robin where no timeouts, but in the semifinals and finals, timeouts are allowed. So
all right,
quick breather here for the Old Dogs and maybe a game plan.
2 goals in a minute 42.
We saw a lot of goals in quick sequences in this game so far, so
it's true.
It's definitely possible.
You got to expect Minnesota's going to put out their speedsters, and they're going to play conservative with one guy forechecking.
Also, you have to imagine if the Old Dogs get possession here, they'll go for that extra attacker as soon as they cross maybe through neutral ice or possibly just getting across the blue line in the offensive zone, but they need that extra body to get that get back in this one.
Phillips will look to take the draw from Minnesota. Could be the fastest guy on the ice, definitely top 3. And he wins it cleanly back to the point. They'll fire it in. It goes wide of the net. Minnesota keeps it. They're going to be content on just keeping it down low and not turn over. And the Dogs actually get a hold of it for a second. And then a quick forecheck from Phillips. Knocks it back in the corner. And they're still battling for possession before Minnesota comes out with it. Fires off the outside of the net. Picked up behind the net. High-powered blind rim pass will bring that face-off back down to the Old Dog zone with 1:15 left to go in this contest. All right, face off inside of the zone and then chipped all the way down the ice and creates another icing call.
Bulldogs running out of time here with just over a minute to go. Now the goalie will go to the bench and they'll add that extra attacker just as we cross the minute plateau. And the 6th minute is on, looking for 2 here. Oh, nearly one there. deflection goes just wide of the net.
Extra attacker for the Dogs. Not something that's practiced. Minnesota's going to take a long, perfect shot.
There it is.
It's going to
That,
put
that should do it.
the icing on the cake there. Minnesota. As pressure really comes off of both teams at this point. As this one looks decided at a 6-3 lead for Minnesota right now. And the goaltender will go back in place for the Old Dogs.
Minnesota did look like the better team, I think, this game. Still a close one. Old Dogs definitely stayed in it, but this Minnesota team look dominant in this Copper B division. They're going to end up with the trophy at the end of the weekend.
Showed a lot of discipline, strong positioning, and really working well in the offensive zone. Always moving the puck to the open guy. And they're content now to just chip it in and let this clock run out. And we have a championship victory for the Minnesota Old Guys, Copper B champions. And they will say thank you to their goaltender, and they will be out for beverages and t-shirts after this one, but they will always have the memory of being a Dog Bowl champion.
Yeah, I'm sure with a result like this, they'll be back next year too, looking to defend their championship.
Now the trophy presentation taking place. One of the most sought after trophies in men's league hockey. I don't even know if it's fair to call it men's league anymore. There's plenty of women on many of the rosters that are here, as well as full women teams. They're going to have to find a new name for that.
Yeah. Adult League.
Adult League, I think that's it. Although some of those kids really adults, like some of them look so young.
Yeah, I know. I mean, on the other ice right now, there's like 19-year-olds who are some of the best players in the world, dominating college hockey, and they're here as well. So everyone's welcome here. So
I tell you what, the trophy in the Copper B, some of the talent in the Copper B doesn't look like the talent that's in the Platinum in the NHL, but I tell you what, that trophy feels just as good.
Yeah, it does.
Being the best in your division is the best in your division, and it feels great. And trophy presentation from Marty Richardson, the Dog father, taking time off of his broadcast of the Platinum game to come over here and show his appreciation for this hard-fought battle in these teams. And I think we can let the viewers watch this one. I think that concludes our broadcast. Thanks for joining Shaw Productions. There's a salute to the that's got to be the 76-year-old on the team, still pulling down trophies at 76. Congratulations to the Minnesota Old Guys for a well-fought tournament and a victory.
That's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in.
I am Matt Martinez with MMD Electric, official streaming sponsor of Dog Bowl 13.
Thank you, Matt. And always remember to play hard
Play fair.
and give back.
We'll see you at the next face-off.